How do people find health insurance? What mindset are they in when this is usually happening?
It's usually that there's something that happened that they've lost it, that they need it, right? Or that it's that time of year, which is coming up. So that time called open enrollment.
Yes.
If you're self-employed, you've heard of it. If you're on a group insurance plan, they have that once a year for their group plan. But basically what that is it's a time of year in which Affordable Care Act, Marketplace, Exchange, all of those are multiple words for the same kind of thing. But those, like Obamacare, that's a quote unquote what people talk about and use for the terminology. But that's just the time of year when people shop. It doesn't mean that those are the only options. I mean, the only time that you can shop for plans. You can shop all year long, and I can walk you through maybe some non-traditional plans versus Marketplace traditional plans. But that's when everybody's thinking about it, is for the new year. So January 1 is when all of these new plans start. In order to get onto those plans, November through December is the time frame to look at it. So that's kind of our crazy season. Starts November 1. So I'm already scheduling people into November at this point, and we're just in September.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gotten, I've had some people that have come through the venue that are now health insurance and financial clients.
Nice.
I've had some people that come through, we've had a couple, it was probably one of our most memorable weddings. But they became friends of ours. They come to Oktoberfest every year, which we can talk about.
Yeah.
And then, gosh, they own their own business. So now they come to COS networking, and they're networking with us. And we've become really solid friends. There's another gal that got married with us. She's a realtor, and we do some networking together with that. So it's just very interesting. You just don't know who's going to walk through that door and be a part of your business life, your personal life, etc.
For sure, yeah.
Just being open to those things is just really cool. And that's your journey. Like, that's your life journey. And I was teaching my kid about this. He just went off to college, and it's our first to go away to college. So, like, number one, can't believe we're there, like, age-wise.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, how did
Reality.
this happen, But it's fun to watch your children, like, get their start in that journey. And I was telling them, I'm like, you're going to be presented as you walk along, and you think you know exactly where you're headed. You're going to be presented with things that are either going to serve you or they're not going to serve you, and you're just going to have to make those decisions. And that's what's going to guide you in your life and to where you're going to go. And I mean, especially in business, man, we all have felt that. Where is that a door that's open, and is that door going to serve me, or is that going to hurt me? Should we try it? And then the risks you take in walking through those doors, the lessons you learn walking through those doors, heartache, walking through those doors. So it's just an interesting concept to think about, just being open to people that come through, and you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
So.
it's definitely chaotic, this life is. and it's unpredictable for sure. You just got to take those shots, though. I mean, yeah, you may not know is what I agree, but you could stand there not knowing and not making any action at all,
Yeah.
Maybe you are going to take the bad door.
Yeah.
But it's better than taking no door.
Yeah. And then that, I mean, whether good or bad, that always leads you to something in your life worthwhile, right? So, like, people that have gone through some trauma or heartbreak or, just challenges in their life, it has led to some wisdom and thoughtfulness, and it does lead you to somewhere better. If
you let it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I mean, I can get, and when you send out the thing about what were some challenges in your business, I'm like, what were some? And all I can come up with is that I'm very sensitive to things around me, and so as things are hard in business, I just took everything personally.
Yes.
And it just, my poor husband, like, I would just be like distraught and devastated with the smallest little things. Now I've come out of that things still affect me quite a bit, but I've learned to just like, wait a minute, God's in charge of me, yes. But God's also in charge of these people over here. I am not, and so I have to really, there's a lot of self-talk, but that's probably, the hard thing for me is realizing that everything's a journey. There's a reason for this. And I've got to figure out my way out of that, but that's going to lead me somewhere else. So
what, do you have a particular example that you'd like to share? Of something that was hard? Well,
I come from, a divorced family, right? So not my parents, but me personally, divorce, early on. That was pretty rough, when, and I was, something people don't know about me is I was a music therapist.
Oh, yes.
My job was to work with young kids using music as a therapeutic medium in order to help them grow into the next developmental stage. So super fun to do. And I had a really kick-ass job. Like my job was great. And then, divorce happens and, you have to move away to a place you don't know anybody. You lose your job, you lose your friends, you have no income, and you have a 2 and a 4-year-old. And so moving in with your parents. So it's those kinds of things where you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to...
And were you like in your 20s or 30s or...
30s.
Okay.
Late 20s. Yeah, late 20s.
Yeah. That could be a hard pill to swallow, like the pride that you have to just eat.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was just so hard to like think about, oh man, I had all of these things lined up for me just to have them knocked down. Thankfully I had my family supporting me in that. But to think about like, I have to rebuild myself in a brand new place with nothing. Ended up that, putting the time and effort in, it was good. Like it was good. And I ended up in an awesome place. My kids and I talk about that now, just about how far that we've come, in that amount of time. But, just rebuilding and like working hard. And I was determined to buy my own house, buy my own car. And you do have to eat some pride and you do have to start at the bottom again. And I did. And you do have to realize what you've done in that situation to make that situation what it is. And, but then like move on. The past is the past and that doesn't define who we are now. So, at that point, like, well, I'm an awesome mom. I'm going to have a career and I'm going to be a homeowner. And I mean, it took some time, but I did it. And then here we are now. I mean, just living in the country, couple businesses, like who would have thought? Just sent my kid to college. She's on a full tuition scholarship. And
nice. Okay.
Everybody's just really doing well. And I think it's just making right decisions at the time that you think they're right. The best decision that you can at the time with what you have available to you.